if you're looking at this video to find out how to do this, I'm hopefully going to say something like, no, I'm not even going to say it. I'll probably say it that it's, for a tip before you start, watch the whole video or jump to this part where I find out nearly at the end that there's a easier way to do it. Maybe I should have watched a video on it. Okay. Today I am hopefully not going to stuff this up. I have noticed over the last couple of weeks a little bit of a rattle in the steering of this vehicle, and that leak that I just found there, it's the power steering rack. So I have got a new one here, and today I'm going to try and install it. Depending on how much time I've got, I might also have a look at putting in a behind the seat battery for this vehicle so that we don't run the primary battery down with the Angle or the Starlink. And I might even put a new solar panel on the roof because the other one blew away. So let's get down there, make sure we've got our safety glasses on, and take some armor off and find out how much work it's going to be to do this simple swap out with Jack, not the mechanic, out the back. So to be able to get to the steering rack at the front, I've got this bash plate I've got to take off. So I'm going to go through pre-lube anything that I can get to, and then I'll look at how I'm going to jack it up and hold it up so I can get those drive tyres off and get access to the tyre rod ends. I might have a look at potentially bashing this plate back down a little bit and see if it's contacting anything it shouldn't. So I'll land you down there and get spraying. Different sizes across the board. So after breaking one bolt, which was a real pain, it's this one over here, because the frame was all bent up, I've now got it off. Now, that's where our issue is with our power steering rack having a big old leak in it and having been flogged out. So, what I'm going to do is spray it down with degreaser and hit it with a pressure washer. So I've got something clean. So I'm going to tidy some of the tools out of the way, back it out of the shed, and yeah, give it a wash down. All right, so she's degreased and it's dried up. So we are under here, nice big light, and you can see there's still a bit of crud on it, but that's because I was washing it from the side. We don't have to worry about taking that off, so we don't need to touch it. But we've got this bolt to undo. Still got a bit of grease and stuff on that. That's no biggie. Yeah. And the tie rod ends, I've sprayed them up with a bit of CRC, WD-40. If they're particularly difficult, the oxy's just there, waiting. And over here, I've got our replacement unit and new tie rod ends. But here's our bit, which gives us a bit of a better idea of what we need to take out underneath. We've got the spline here, and that's got some white grease on it, so that should be nice up in there. I've got these 2 bolts to undo. These tie rod ends off the end, and then we've got these 2 caps where we've got the power in. So shouldn't be that much stuff. It'd be a little bit of twisting and jiggling, but once we've got it out, we'll be able to get on there and sort of feel what movement we have there. Okay, so first challenge down here is that. We'll see if I can loosen him up.
Put it down. One foot is up.
See how...
I didn't get squishy too. But there wasn't no puddle. Now there was a puddle, and it didn't come to the...
Alright, since I'm going to have to take these wheels off and I don't have a hoist here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my 2 bottle jacks and a 50x50 RHS, jack it up where I would put the hoist, and then put some jack stands out on the outside there. So yeah, let's get to it. Pick maybe a little bit of spray in there. Well, that's one, so the next should be a little bit quicker. Classic. All right, while we're at it, it might be worth sort of having a look at the CV joints and bearings just to make sure that's not something else we need to do and that's the cause of the rattle. But I was pretty sure that it was those, so no. So no, it's that power steering rack. So we've got those two undone. There's our big rattle. So time to get under there and undo those next 4 bolts. Well, you know, those 2 hydraulic lines and the mounting ones. All right, so this is probably one of the more difficult spots to kind of get into, but hopefully that camera angle shows it. Now it's the 12mm, wherever you've gone. Now my 12mm up here. So to get to it, I've got to kind of come in from behind. You know, there's the main bracket there. And just get my ring spanner just on the back there. And I want to get it just in a position where I can actually move it. So I might have to turn it backwards. Alright, so just after I flicked the camera off, I wound that 12mm all the way out, and he was from in there, and pretty much taking that out, took it out of that slot in that groove, so I can just tap him straight up. I should be able to. Alright, so that should free it up, make it easier when I undo these other ones. Now, probably going to drop some oil in here, so I should get a bucket. Alright, so it's those 4 17s, and then I've got another 2 17s, those hydraulic lines that plug into here to undo. So it's a bit awkward with the camera and everything under there, and yeah, I'll leave you just in the corner for a bit. Alright, so I've managed to get those undone. The most difficult one was up the back here. So that was a nice challenge. I've had that draining for a little while now. I reckon the way out is going to be out that way. So let's pop over there and see how we go. unroll this at all. How am I going to get you out without a whole load of pain and misery? Lovely. Right, so that was, let's say, relatively painless once I got that into the right spot. But yeah, dropping the front diff down, that's kind of nice. It's like really easy to access. So putting the new one in is not going to be terribly hard. But I'm going to go have a cup of tea and yeah, get back into it. I wonder if that's going to make it easier to put in that bolt that took me ages, because I can now get in behind it. So if you're looking at this video to find out how to do this, I'm hopefully going to say something like, no, I'm not even going to say it. I'll probably say it that it's, you know, for a tip before you start, watch the whole video or jump to this part where I find out nearly at the end that there's a easier way to do it. Maybe I should have watched a video on it. Alright, so this is the kind of the bit that's the do this first. Before you go and undo the bolts on the back to drop out that power steering bracket, drop these from the front axle and then you'll be able to access everything a lot easier. Now I'm just going to do everything in reverse to taking it out. And the other thing I want to make sure is that I've cleaned all my nuts, bolts, etc., before they go in, and that I've got my anti-seize. So I'm just going to mess around for a little bit and get it ready to go in. I think I must have come in the other way. No. Almost. this one. I'll put critical that way. Alright, that first bit took 6 minutes. Now we've got to work out exactly in which order I'm going to attach everything here. I reckon probably I'm going to push up this side and get one of these bottom bolts in just to sort of lock it so I can push and pivot and everything on the left to be able to get that bracket into place, but also so I can bring it down enough that I can put the spline back onto it. Alright, so that one's in loosely, finger tight. I've just got to get up here and get this spline onto there. Let's go for some creative camera positions. Now remember that had grease on it already. That's why I'm going straight on, and I had that guard on it. Alright. Nicely, and we'll just tighten him up. That's a 12mm. Yep, she's good. Alright. So instead of going for this one just here, so I'm not going to do this one just yet. I'm going to do the other two that attach to this bracket here. Now that that diff is out of the way, putting this one in should be a lot easier, because I'll be able to come in with a long extension once I've got him started, which could be part of the real challenge. Right, so I'm going to get this one done up, and then I'll nip the others up, and then I will lift the axle bracket and the axle back into place. So that shouldn't be too much of an effort. I'll be back in a second. Alright, we were at 15 minutes, so on top of those 6 minutes, 21 minutes. Now I have tightened all of those up, and I'm not sure whether, like, pushing the, yeah, I'm going to put the main lines back on, and then I'll lift this up, but I'm going to leave them cracked while I bleed it before I get into doing the wheel alignment, putting the ends on. So, gonna grab my screwdriver or my pick and just pluck them out. Now, kind of looks annoying, but it appears that the bottom one is the line in and the return is the top. Now, when I'm bleeding, I want to pop the top one and have him loose until I've got all the power steering fluid I need. Alright, she's a wee bit loose, so I'm going to drop my bucket underneath again. Going to turn the car on and see what happens under there. Right, that's all on jack stands, that's good. Let's give it a go. Now I just need a really, really small 17 to nip that up. Alright, so another 6 minutes on top of it. Half an hour-ish. Fire up and we'll feel how the power and steering feels, and have a look at my power steering fluid. Point you in a safe direction. And you. Okay, so that should be center and straightforward. Now I just need to hook up my ends and align it basically. Alright, battery's running low. See how we go. Alright, whip some wheels on and take it for a quick drive. Alright, so that's that sorted out. Time to take it for a little bit of a spin. Make sure that it's half organised. Now this ute's had a little bit of work in the last 2 weeks. I cleaned out the condenser for the aircon, the evaporator as well. It was completely clogged, and I installed that extra thermofan that Chris suggested, and I've also put a in-cab filter, and yeah, that's made it so that the aircon is very quiet, so I don't always need to share it with the flies. Right, so I'm just gonna get onto the airstrip and just do a figure 8 or 2. Not skids, just literally a figure 8. To confirm that I've got good steering. The only thing that I may have stuffed up here, yeah, it's a little awkward. That's a little bit annoying, not having my steering wheel aligned. Bugger. That's why I didn't put the underbody protection back on, because I probably need to make a few small adjustments here and there. But everything's nicely lubed up, so that's all good. Alright, so I'm just going to go for a full lock to the right. Holder on lock. Back on my wheel marks and a full lock to the left. Right. Straight on those marks. Lock right. Right, well, looks like I'm half sorted there, which I'm happy about. It's just going to be a case of making that slight adjustment. It's like from the 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock position to get it all sorted. But I hope you've enjoyed watching me do something that someone else probably is a lot better at. But I've done it. It's up my sleeve now. If you're interested in getting some Jack Out the Back hats, the original orange ones are now for sale on Adam's site, and hopefully I'm going to be back up and running with getting my videos out regularly. Still working through the backlog. That's, yeah, to be expected. Been really busy for the last couple of months, but half back on deck. So thanks everyone for joining us, everyone who's subscribed, members, our sponsors, you know, the guys that support the channel. Brilliant to work with you all, and I like to see the growth and interest in this, and even more growing the support for remote and regional Australia. So thank you everyone, and I will fix this up and see you later.